Welcome back to V8 Creative and part 39 of the Ultima RS build, and on this episode we go to a car show and we start fitting more carbon. Yes, another day pass in the Dean Den. I'm in heaven, and as you can see, the t-shirts have come out because summer is here in the UK. Blue skies, that big yellow thing in the sky, we don't see that very often. And last weekend I went to Gasoline Juice and we had an Ultima meet there. And later on in this episode, I'm going to show you a couple of interviews with owners and drivers of these machines, and they share with you what it's actually like to use these on the UK roads. Well, anyway, on this episode, I'm just going to get straight onto spannering, and I'm going to show you how I've detailed the gearbox. We're going to fit more carbon to the beast. So just sit tight, pull yourself a beer, and let's get spannering.
Get me tools and beer.
Carbon fibre time. Wow, yes, another upgrade I've opted for. Carbon fibre side splitters. Now, these beauties actually go down the side of the RS and they look amazing. Yep, they do have function. I get that over form, but it's more about the look for me. So they're obviously finished in high gloss carbon like the rest of the upgrades I've gone for on this car. But let me just unwrap it and let's just look at that weave. Wow, look at that. Wow. I love jobs like this. Fitting carbon aero is just so satisfying. Okay, so what you can see here is I've got a couple of axle stands because what I need to do is align this side splitter with exactly where I want it to fit on the wheel arches. So let me just pop it up. Of course you could get someone to help you do this, but I prefer it on my own in the Dean Den. So if I just pop this in like so, it naturally wants to sit on the bottom radius of the side pod. So it wants to sit about there. We line the front up with the front of the wheel arch, and hopefully the back is absolutely spot on. So there you go, it's as simple as that. So what Ultima provide are some M6 riv nuts, 5 of them, and what happens is the side skirt's pre-drilled, so I get under there, get it in the right position, mark the holes, drill, put the riv nut in, and then these stainless steel set screws just go in and hold it. It's as simple as that. Now, the jobs for this, now what I found is, this is through trial and error, drilling through gel-coated fiberglass, the best tool is a stepped hole cutter. It's quite interesting because what I found is drill bits can sometimes be a bit too aggressive and flake the gel coat, which isn't good. So what I'm going to do is use this hole cutter first. Now I need to drill a 9mm hole, and unfortunately these hole cutters only go up in even numbers. So I'll drill 8mm with this and go slightly in with the 10mm just to give it a bit of a countersink. That's through the gel coat. Then I'll use a 9mm drill to open it out, and then I use a countersink like so to put a countersink in so the riv nut is actually flush with the bodywork. So what I'll do is I'll get under there now and start marking it, so I'll see you underneath. There we go. Oh, all done. So next what we do is we go to the front, use a jack stand, and you can feel this wants to sit just on the radius. So what we do is we pop that back, and then I do all the same here. There you go. Perfect.
I'm driving, you're smiling, just really doing nothing. That's the thing I like about you. On the highway, it's always 66 and we keep on driving. We just do what we wanna do. Yeah, no, nothing's complicated with you. Hey, playing songs on the radio, sing along to the words that we don't know how. Brings out the problems. Let's just run away. Yeah, I could drive the whole along. Being with you is like being on the rodeo highways. Brings out the problems. I got a little crush on you. You say that I'm crazy. It's just the way that I get every time that I'm with you. Your laughter takes me to heaven. I just wanna make you repeat it and repeat it again. Yeah, you make the sky so blue. No, nothing's complicated with you. Hey, playing songs on the radio, sing along to the words that we don't know how. Brings out the problems. Let's just run away. Yeah, I could drive the whole along. Being with you is like being on the rodeo highways. Brings out the problems. I got a little crush on you. On the highway, it's always Route 66 and we keep on driving. We just do what we wanna do. Hey, playing songs on the radio, sing along to the words that we don't know how. Brings out the problems. Let's just run away. Yeah, I could drive the whole along. Being with you is like being on the rodeo highways. Brings out the problems. I got a little crush on you. Ooh, I got a little crush on you.
What a satisfying job that was. Look, all fitted. Just a bit of drilling and riv nutting. A few tips to make sure we don't flake that gel coat or we strip those threads on those riv nuts. But apart from that, very, very straightforward and incredibly satisfying. I think it's time for a rest, to crack open a beer and just admire this. Well, I think, what job shall I do next? Now, as many of you will know, I've got the pseudonym of Nigel Dean, and the reason I've got that is I'm a bit anal when it comes to making sure everything is just right. And as you probably remember from a previous episode, I took delivery of this Porsche gearbox, brand new, out of the box, a few episodes ago. Now, even though the box was brand new, it just didn't look perfect to me. I know. It's what happens when you store a component. There's some slight oxidation on the aluminium. So I've decided, yeah, just to detail it a bit. And what you see here is the end result. Now, I haven't shown you the masking and the spraying because it's pretty obvious. But what I'm going to do is run through with you what I've done to make this box as perfect as it can be. Now, to start with, what I've done is the casing, the aluminium casing, I've sprayed this with aluminium paint, a silver, just to give it a consistent finish. Now this is heat resistant paint, and I'm going to be painting also the block of the engine in this because it's engine enamel. So therefore the colour of the box will match the colour of the block on the engine. It's all the detail, you know. And before I sprayed this, I got a Dremel and I went over all the flash lines to try and get the worst of it off the casting process. Now the other thing is, what I wanted to do is not spray over all the bolt heads because that just doesn't look good. So every single bolt I've actually masked before I sprayed. Now probably more important, even if you don't want to go this far, on these boxes there's a few components that are just raw steel, in particular the outputs here. Now if they're not sprayed or protected, they will rust. And it looks awful because in the Ultima, when you look in that engine bay, these are very prominent. So I've masked them, I've sprayed them in high gloss black paint. Obviously, I've put a key on there before I've done that. Now, what Ultima do is they provide this bracket here in, it's a beautiful bracket actually. These are for the two cables to operate the actual gear shift mechanism. Now, this is powder coated in gloss black. So what I've done is these two mechanisms, I've masked them and sprayed them in gloss black to match. Yeah, I know I've gone over the top a bit, but I don't know, it's just me. And then also what you can see here is this is one of the drive shafts, what Ultima provide, beautiful bits of kit. And the Lobro joint on the end, which is, I'll put a picture up what they look like, is again finished just in raw steel, and that will rust, and that actually gets bolted up against this flange. So what I've done is I keyed it and sprayed it to be exactly the same color. And to be honest, that's probably cost me 20 quid. In time, it's probably taken me, I don't know, 5 hours. But when that goes in, it's gonna look beautiful. And also, because it has this finish, it is easy to keep clean. And here, what we have is, this is the, I'll take it off out of my vise. This little bracket here, I don't know if you can see it, I'll put it in front of there. That is for the speedo sensor and bolts on the back of the gearbox. And Ultima provide this lovely little bent up bracket in aluminium. And of course, I wanted it gloss black to match all the other brackets and mechanisms on the box. And that's what I've done. So there you go. So I'm quite pleased with that. It looks pretty good. So we can't wait to bolt it in, bolt it to the engine, and it's gonna look The next job is a very satisfying job as well, and that is fitting the fuel fillers. Now, what you've got here is all the components to fit one side. So we have the fuel-proof pre-formed tube. We have the Jubilee clips to hold this in place between the tank and the funnel. On top of the funnel goes this beautiful aero style cap, and called an aero style cap because these were the type of fuel fillers used in World War II on aeroplanes. And it's lockable with a key, it's got Ultima branded on it, and it's a twist and a pull. Very nice bit of kit. So let's just go over to the car. I've pre-drilled the bodywork and let's get fitting. Fuel filler time. So the first component to go on is the aluminium funnel. Pops on like so. Then we pop on the cork gasket, like so, And then the aero style fuel filler, which goes in like so.
Live your life within the moment, and don't go wait until the morning. You never know when it is over. All that I know is we'll get older. So let us dance this night away. Bodies move to the groove and the light that flickers. We get lost in the crowd, it's getting thicker. We get away from the drinks and chatter. Haven't said a word, but it doesn't matter. Feel the air get thinner. Standing in a blurry dream. No one else can see us. Live your life within the moment, and don't go wait until the morning. You never know when it is over. All that I know is we'll get older. So let us dance this night away.
That was a pretty easy job, apart from the Anaconda, the fuel hose between the filler and the tank. I have to wrestle with that. Anyway, so I've got it all in place now. Beautiful action, just superb. Ultima logo facing this way as on the demonstrator, and I must say I definitely need a beer.
Dom. This is my second Ultima. I had a factory built 2001 car originally, I had it for about 9 years. Completely different engine setup compared to this one. The original one was with a carburetor and it was pretty much a NASCAR engine at 600 horsepower. Well, the silver one I sold to do up a barn conversion and stuff like that, and started looking at GT3s and F30s and stuff like that, but I wanted an Ultima again. They're just raw. I was very lucky through Charles Dunn to find this car. Completely lovely car to drive. It's like it's a proper racing car on the road. Very tractable. LS7 is just such a usable engine, but a fantastic car. Absolutely brilliant. This engine in a car that weighs less than 1,000 kilos is just the right way going forward.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
All right, cheers.
Right, thank you.
Cheers.
I'm Bill. This is the car I've built over a year and 3 months. An LS3.
Yep.
6.2, 430 brake horsepower, which is fine for me.
Of course.
And it's having just recently now have it on the road. It drives a bit like a large go-kart. It's like handles very well, and it's like glued to the road.
Okay. Yeah.
So you just don't, you hold the steering wheel firmly in 2 hands.
So you would say 430 horsepower is a lot, is pretty good for this weight of this car?
It's the smallest sort of sized engine in this car.
Yeah.
But for me, having put my foot down in various places,
yes,
That suffice, you know.
Yeah.
That'll do me.
And does it lose traction when you put your foot down?
You can in wet weather or damp roads,
Yes.
but on dry roads it sort of bears the back end and
It just squats
away
and
you
just
go.
goes.
Yeah, just squats and goes.
All right. Have you raced anything yet?
No.
Oh,
Not yet.
God, I thought you were going to have a really interesting story there. You raced something.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Still to come.
So, wow. And another day spannering comes to an end, and I'd like to give a big shout out to Gasoline Juice for having such an amazing venue for the Ultima get together, and another one will be coming very soon, so keep tuned and maybe you can come along and meet the creative director. Anyway, on that note, all I'd like to say is keep smiling and enjoy your spannering.